Hello, my friends. Did you know there was once a man who conquered half the known world in only 10 years? He never lost a single battle. Today we call him Alexander the Great. Born in Macedonia in 356 BC, Alexander proved he was special early on. At just 12 years old, he tamed a wild, angry horse named Bucephalus, simply by noticing the animal was afraid of its own shadow. He turned the horse toward the sun, calmed it, and rode away. His father, King Philip, proudly told him, "My son, you must find a kingdom big enough for you. Macedonia is too small." Alexander was also trained by the great thinker Aristotle, who filled his mind with science, philosophy, and the epic tales of ancient heroes. When Alexander was only 20, his father was murdered. Suddenly, the young prince became king. He quickly proved his strength, uniting the Greek cities before turning his eyes to the ultimate prize, the massive Persian Empire. In 334 BC, Alexander marched into Asia. He was a man who refused to accept limits. When he encountered the legendary Gordian knot, a complex puzzle that promised the rule of Asia to whoever could untie it, Alexander didn't waste time struggling. He simply drew his sword and cut it in half. He made his own destiny. Facing the massive Persian armies of King Darius, Alexander proved to be a brilliant commander. In famous clashes like the Battle of Gaugamela, his clever tactics and fearless cavalry charges shattered enemy lines, even when heavily outnumbered. By age 30, Alexander had conquered the Persian Empire and founded magnificent cities like Alexandria in Egypt. But he wouldn't stop. He pushed his army further east into India, fighting through deserts and facing terrifying war elephants. Finally, after 8 long years of marching, his exhausted soldiers said no. They missed their families and refused to go further. For the first time in his life, Alexander had to turn back. Returning to Babylon, he planned new adventures. But tragedy struck. Alexander caught a severe fever and died at the young age of 32. While his vast empire soon broke apart, his legacy changed the world. He connected the East and West, spreading culture and knowledge. Alexander's story reminds us that people can achieve incredible things when they refuse to give up, but also that even the greatest king must eventually face the end of his journey. Thank you for listening.